Just talk so much about the value of friendships and what friendships can look like at work. And I feel like we have to talk about the other side of this. And I don't know if you'll agree with me, but I'll say it. I don't feel like you have to be friends with everybody at work. I think you should be friendly, and people should leave at least content. They should leave at least as positive as they started a conversation with you. How do you get the job done and move forward and still leave people feeling I had a good interaction with Pete, even knowing that you're not friends with this person?
One, I think you just have to own up to that sometimes difficult truth, which is that not everybody's going to like you, and not everybody's going to think that you're smart or valuable or any of those other things. And at the same time, I think that it's important to combat the naivete, which is thinking that in any organization or community, that you can somehow be an island and it doesn't matter what other people think about you. And so my goal when I interact with, let's say, people I'm meeting for the first time, regardless of who they are, but particularly in a professional context, I usually have a clear, albeit passive vision of what I want them to think about me during our interaction, and particularly after we leave. And they're not really ambitious things. The things that I want them to walk away feeling is, one, Pete seems like a pretty nice guy. Like, he's not extremely aggressive or extremely anything, honestly. The first thing can just be like, he seems nice. The second thing, and I have a tattoo on my wrist that says WAIT, which is an acronym that stands for Why Am I Talking? But I hope that people who interact with me also think, wow, this guy really listens. And like, he listens with intention. Like, he's hearing, not just listening. And then I think the third thing is that I want them to take away, if I'm being a little bit vain, is, I'd like them to think that I'm clever. And that third one is partially vanity, but that has a certain kind of professional utility that translates to the way that I dress. The way that I'm dressed right now, relatively casually, is how I dress at work.
You want to be like a holographic Pokemon card. You don't want to be like just a normal edition. You want to be like in some way revered and special.
Well, maybe the other way of thinking about that is, I think, at 39, I'm not pretending to be any younger than I am. But I still tend to dress informally as, I think, a way of signaling to people that it's okay to at least superficially underestimate me. Like, I sort of show up as who I am. I'm not trying to make a big statement, but I am kind of who I am. But there's a subversion that I'm trying to complete there, which is when somebody sees me and I have the tattoos and I'm dressed more casually, and there may be an assumption about either my passivity, casualness, or maybe my relative level of professionalism, I enjoy subverting that expectation by being like, no, I'm actually really polite. I know my shit. I have a really strong point of view on the things that I'm a qualified expert in. And I create space for everybody. And I think in a weird way, that's like me trying to get like a little bonus. It's like a hoodie bonus, I think.
Yeah.
But my parting thought on that, I think, is, there's this saying about how we tend to judge ourselves based on our intentions, and we judge others on the basis of how we perceive their actions. And I try to think about that a fair amount, because all of us struggle with people at work. And I'm not saying like you need to make your enemies or opponents or arch nemeses your best friends. But what I have generally found is it is a whole lot easier in work, particularly in large organizations, if the general perceptions of you are positive. And so then it really just becomes energy management to say, what's the minimum amount of energy I need to put into every interaction that I'm willing to give, that leaves people feeling that at minimum I'm nice, that I listen, and that, I know my shit. And if I can accomplish that without really bending over backwards or compromising on all my values or morals or anything else, then it's a really good exchange of very finite amount of energy on my part and generally pretty broad returns. And that has tended to play out. I'm not a people pleaser by nature, but I'm trying to leave people better off in a way, with a positive enough impression that the option is open to build our relationship from there.
Yeah, I think that's super thoughtful. I think it's real. I think it helps also the sustainability of a career, right? Career is many, many years. It's not one interaction, not two. It's not a project. It's not just one job. It's over the period of time. And you need to have a model for yourself that you can, that allows you to spend time and honestly in other places. I also think that that's validation for people who might say, I don't have friends at work. It might just be that you haven't met your people yet. And that's completely fine.